Hello everyone, it's DuckFaden07 and today we are playing a Jund Assault Loam list brew I made a few days ago and did the 5-0 trophy with it. So those of you who follow my channel from the earliest days, you can remember me constantly brewing various seismic assault loam strategies. This is one of my favorites, but it fell off from the modern for some time. Wasn't really as competitive as it was like a year or two ago. So, but these new cards from Lord of the Rings really boosted the archetype, and I feel like they all fit so well in this strategy. I'm not sure if any other deck exists that plays a full playset of all three staples from Lord of the Rings edition. So we have 4 Bowmasters, 4 Halflings, 4 One Rings, and they are all great fit in this strategy. So let's see what else we have here. Sheldred, because it's great against a ring and it's such a good card to play with a ring in your deck. And also we doing a lot of drawing using Forgotten Caves and One Ring. With the Assault Loam and Renin 6, this can really accumulate. And Halfling fits in very well, making our Renin 6 uncounterable, but also Grist, Sheldred, the One Ring, so many targets for the Halfling. Unfortunately, Halfling doesn't help cast the Seismic Assault, but it wasn't, didn't have any issues with it with this, and you also just are in most games you'll never want to cast Assault on turn 2 anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. Okay, so other than that we have some removals to help in the early game. So there is Bolt, Terminate, also 4 Orcish Bowmasters to help with the opponent's Bowmasters, but also against Ragavan, and all, of course, all 1-mana toughness creatures. So we have Bowmasters here and no Fury in the main, but we have Fury in the sideboard as additional removal. Okay, so Grist, another great turn 2 play in this deck with the Lighted Halfling, uncounterable. It mills you, so it helps you fill your graveyard with the lands, which help for Renin 6 and Life from the Loam. There are 2 Terminates in as additional removal, and that's about it. So 26 lands, both Sages, Sucking Down, Forgotten Caves in the main, lot of utility lands that we can really use with the Renin 6. Okay, so it is a 3-color deck, but we still have a Blood Moon in a deck because this is primarily a black-red deck, and we can easily find our basics in the beginning before we actually cast the moon, and also usually it's fine even if we have just one basic. Still most of the spells are castable, especially once you resolve the One Ring. Okay, so some artifact enchantment hate, third Boseiju, 1 of Tear Asunder and 2 Force of Vigor. That is my choice for sideboard additional artifact enchantment hate. I have 2 Chalice of the Voids, 2 Wheel of Summers, 3 Endurance, and that's it. So let's go to the gameplay and see how it went. The deck just played out beautifully. Was really strong. I played 3 leagues total with this deck and did a 13-2 score, which is really good. It's actually a really amazing score, 13-2. And okay, so a lot of this is thanks to the Lighted Halfling. This guy just improves this deck by a lot. Okay, so I went. Okay, so I had a misplay in this game 1. It was pretty bad one. I was just convinced that my opponent doesn't have anything, so I let them here play the hammer, but they didn't do it. So I went for the Boseiju. I played out Boseiju. They used the protection spell. I played the forest and decided to gamble a bit here and decide to go for Urza Saga before they can use the Urza Saga mana. But my opponent ended up having a double hammer in this situation. I didn't care much about one hammer taking 11 damage. I just didn't care about it, and I thought, like, my thought process was there is extremely low chance that they have a double hammer, and yeah, so it was a misplay, but they just had it. And Hammer is a very good matchup anyway. So have those Bosages recycling with the life from the Loam and the Renin 6, but also have a Tier Sanders and that Force of Vigors plus Fury from the sideboard and Orcish Bowmaster and Seismic Assault. This is very, very hard matchup for Hammer Time. So I wasn't too concerned. I just went for the Renin 6 and brought back my lands. And now I use my Vran ability again and resolved the Seismic Assault, and basically that's it. Yeah, that is game over for the Hammer Time player. They can have something really, really crazy, but I'm not sure what it can even be like. Especially now when I tap with a Tira Sander, it's basically impossible for them to use to do anything. So I went for the One Ring here and still had the Seismic Assault. And my Hammer opponent, I think they just conceded next turn. That was it. Okay, 3 lands in hand: Fury, Tira Sander. Yeah, that's it. Opponent concedes. Okay, let's check out the match 3. So that is partially reason why I was ready for such a gamble on game 1, because Hammer Time is really a fine matchup. Okay, so this was a bit risky, obviously, but I let them draw a card. I just didn't. I wanted to prevent them playing their 0 mana creatures, and I let them draw a card because I had a very good hand. Chalice on 1 on turn 2, followed with Fury, and I was convinced they can't play anything too strong on turn 3. Even if they did, I had all the responses I need. So I decided just to go for a Fury, kill Sentinel, kill the Stoneforge, and play the Chalice on 1. So now I had a Chalice on 0, Chalice on 1, and that is a pretty good situation for me. Okay, opponent goes for a Stoneforge Mystic. I had a Tira Sunder here to kill the Urza Saga, but I didn't want to risk them drawing another land, and I just decided to exile the Kaldra. I think this was much safer decision. They had Stoneforge in play, and I definitely wanted to resolve the assault to prevent them from putting the Colossus Hammers into play with Stoneforge. I had several choices here, but I decided to go for the One Ring. Untapping next turn with a Force of Figure plus a Seismic Assault. It's just incredibly strong, and I'm not sure what my opponent can do here. Maybe it can have some crazy stuff in hand, but it's pretty safe situation for me. Okay, I go for a Sheldred here, gain some life. And also start draining my opponent. The best opponent can have in a situation like this is Pure Steel Paladin, and they had it. But this is absolutely the best they can have, and I still had a Force of Figure backup. So I didn't care that much about anything my opponent can play. So I just destroy the Needle, I destroy the Hammer, and let this damage resolve. Gain 2 life with a Sheldred cycling Land. And yeah, so went to my turn now, gaining 6 life with 1 ring, drawing 3 cards. I have the life from the Loam, have the Assault. I just used a Seismic Assault multiple times, bring back land, and yeah, so I also still had the life from the Loam, and the opponent conceded at this point. That was it. So that's it, match 1 against Hammer Time. Okay, let's check out the match 2. So I had that awful misplay on game 1, but still it was a risk I was ready to take, and it ended up well good for me. Okay, so in this game again a risky keep. I got to play the Swamp because I have that Moons on the sideboard, and also against other Blood Moons. But this was a risky keep with Vrenn 6 because I didn't have a second land. Again, I decided to gamble a bit. This was fine top deck. I had Bolt, I had Terminate, two good cards. And so I had to do something. I had stuff to do until I draw that third land, but I really needed it in the next 2-3 turns, at least. So I took the damage from the Might, and opponent goes for Goyf, I think. No, sorry, Samwise. They go for Samwise. I played the Bolt and didn't draw a land, so I just passed the turn with holding Terminate. But yeah, this was my last chance to draw a land and start playing. I went obviously Seismic Assault in hand plus Vrenn 6 in hand can be extremely strong against creature-based deck like this. But I draw Bowmasters. Bowmasters was fine, killing their last creature. So I did actually get rid of all of their creatures. I was still in a playable situation if I get the land next turn. But my opponent had two Cocos ready in hand. And yeah, so I just conceded the um, when they tapped and played the second Coco, so that's it. Didn't get that land. Instead, I got the third Vrenn 6. Awful. So that's it. Okay, let's check out the game 2. Uh, so you could see in these two games, in game ones, I took maybe unnecessary risks. They didn't pay off. But I got to say, often those kind of risks in a decks like this really pay off. You need very little to get it going, and yeah, okay. My opponent plays their halfling, so I had Vrenn 6 plus Bolt on my turn. It was pretty much ideal. So I went for the Blood Crypt, played my Vrenn 6, bring back a land, and I have the One Ring for the next turn. So pretty much ideal start. Also, another Bolt in hand is pretty nice. My opponent goes for the heat, finds the garden, plays again Samwise Gamgee. I feel like it's really important to answer the Samwise Gamgee immediately if possible. So instead of playing the ring, I decided to go for a bolt this turn and just get rid of the Samwise and then play the ring on my next turn. And now I play out my ring and leave the halfling untapped. In case they, I don't know, play something end of turn, then go for the attacks. They did have a Bowmasters that didn't play it in response to the One Ring. I untap again with the ring. Now I had Vrenn 6 to kill the Bowmasters. I had the Sheldred to gain life with the ring. So I mean they can have a Coco. They also can have a very good Coco at this point, but they are still in a very hard situation. So I go for ring activation here. In response, they put a gingerbread cabin ability on stack and play the collected company, but completely whiff with the company. Only find a cauldron familiar. So I gained 4 life with the shelter here. Draw 2 cards. Just had hand a bunch of nothing, just a lot of lands there. But it was fine. This hand was just waiting for me to top deck Seismic Assault. And yeah, okay, so let's see how I sideboarded in this matchup. Took out 1 Sheldred, 1 Assault, 2 Bowmasters, and brought in just 1 Endurance when I was on the play. And I think I brought all of them when I was on the draw. That's it. Took out 1 Grist, and yeah, So just basically just trimmed some of the cards to bring in better ones from the graveyard, and opponent maybe had the chord in hand, or it was a mistake to play the Viscera here in a situation where I can just ping it. I don't know what they were thinking, but they concede. So that is this. Let's check out game 3. Okay, in the game 3, classic, let's say classic hand. I have a Vran plus Seismic Assault. This combo, let's say, is really powerful against creature-based decks like this one. I also top decked Lightning Bolt to slow my opponent down, which is very good with this type of hand. I really just want to slow them down until I get the Seismic and Vran 6 on the field. Opponent plays the Samwise Gamgee, and I don't have a removal here. I have to risk them having a crazy hand with Black Source, Viscera Seer, and Chord of Calling for Cat to combo. They had they actually had the Tom here, but didn't have a rest of the pieces, so they just went for Samwise and the Grist. So now I had 3 red mana, and I just played Seismic Assault. I killed the Grist, killed everything. Didn't want to kill the insect token. Yeah, just getting rid of the Samwise, plus holding 2 more lands in hand, and the Endurance. It's basically as powerful as it gets against this kind of deck. So now I also had Endurance, two double Endurance and the double land in hand to use for the Seismic Assault plus the Vren on the field. Pretty much unbeatable unless my opponent has like double company and gets some kind of crazy hits with it. But that didn't happen. So I played this slowly. Didn't There was no need to rush anything. So I just let 1 damage on the Vren 6. I only cared about Vren getting me land every turn. Didn't care that much about ultimate. Okay, so I use my Vren 6 again, put 2 spirit tokens from the Sokenzan on the field, and opponent plays another collected company. This time finding a ranger captain and a company manufacturer. I immediately kill the manufacturer, and they find Viscera Seer with their ranger captain. Opponent goes for the Samwise Gamgee, and I know they have a Viscera Seer. Also, Chatterfang. I kill Chatterfang before I kill Samwise before Chatterfang enters the battlefield, so they don't get tokens. I blocked both creatures with my spirit tokens and just finished off the ranger captain with the Sokenzan discard. And I still had the endurance, 2 endurance in my hand to play them as a blockers, flash, instant speed. And yeah, I top deck another land, so I really wanted to kill this Chatterfang immediately if possible. So I did that. I know they have Viscera Seer in hand, which they don't want to play because it will just die. Also, they had another land, and this was ideal situation for me. Basically, I can't lose after this. So I play out one of my endurances, start attacking, also just putting more lands in my hand with Vran 6. Opponent, of course, has Goose. They can gain a lot of life there. But it's no use. That's it. Okay, that was match 2 against Samwise Gamgee combo. Let's check out match 3. As I said, had 13-2 score in this run, and basically my only losses were in the trophy matches where I kept very greedy one-landers. And yeah, so opponent goes for a Tatsis turn 1 here, discard one of the seismics. They probably wanted to go maybe like Haywire Might, the second assault, or something like that. Okay, but they didn't take a Terminate here, and they played their Goyf, which then made it possible for me to just kill the Goyf here. I went Mountain here and played the Seismic Assault, and this is now a very good situation for me. Basically, in a situation like this, now I wait to top deck Live from the Loam or Wrenn 6, one side top deck of Wrenn 6. This is just extremely good situation for my deck. They don't play Pitting Needle. They do have Haywire Might, but until they get that Haywire Might, it will be very possible for me to to gain a lot of value with this Seismic Assault. So I get to kill the Ragavan, I get to kill the Construct, I get to kill the flipped Fable. So a lot of value before actually Haywire Might getting the Seismic Assault out. Also got the Grist on the field. They make their construct and I kill it immediately. So in their main phase, the Fable flips. They make another construct token, and I had a bolt for the Kikijiki, and I didn't want to let them grow their construct, so I just went to kill the. I just went to kill the construct. So in this situation, like Grist is really helpful. It's milling you, helping you find lands, put them into the graveyard. I also just replayed my Loam here, and with the intention to dredge next turn and get some lands into the graveyard. I didn't get any lands from the Loam dredge, but I did get a land from the Grist ability, and it was a cave, and cave got me Bloodstained Mire, and then I played my Life from the Loam, getting back 2 lands, and my giant opponent concedes the game. That was it. This is just too much for them. They don't have another grave arcade piece, and that is the game. Okay, so very easy game, win with the Seismic Assault, and yeah, and that's it. So let's go to the game 2. This is decent hand. They have a needle for a Boseiju. Oh, sorry, they name the Seismic Assault. But yeah, whatever they name here, I have a solution for it. So my opponent goes for the Wrenn 6. And I go for Wrenn 6 too, but yeah, so Wrenn 6 is just much better in this deck. It is also great here, of course, getting back the Urza Saga, but yeah, it is the main engine of the Seismic Assault deck. And opponent had played the Tarmogoyf, and I played the Bowmasters to get the token I can sack to the Goyf. And I also just played my second Bowmasters to finish off their Wrenn 6. Killing the Wrenn 6 in this matchup is really important to prevent them from getting back the Urza Saga. So I got another Orc Army token this way, and now I untap with the Boseiju, I untap with the Life from the Loam. I definitely have had the opportunity here to just kill the Urza Saga with Boseiju, but playing Ring is just so good that I didn't want to. I've decided it's not necessary to go for the attacks. Opponent makes a couple of constructs. They have plenty of graveyard hate, removing my lands from the graveyard so I can't get them back with the Wrenn 6 or whatever, but I had plenty of these lands I can recur from the graveyard, so I didn't care that much. Also, when I have the Ring resolved, I don't even care that much about my Planeswalkers or anything. I find the Sheldred here, and decided just to hold the Boseiju and jump the construct without a trample. So I just Boseiju one of these guys and jump the other one. Opponent finds another Wren to bring back a Saga and has Determinate for my Sheldred, so pretty good draws also by my opponent, but I have the ring and it's just too much advantage at this point. So I went for a Loam, Boseju'd their Needle, terminated the construct, and decided to hold back the Wheel of Summer. And yeah, they went to draw a card, getting me 2 more triggers on the Orcish Bowmaster, which allows me to kill the Wren this turn. And that's it, opponent decides it's enough and they concede. Okay, that was the Jund opponent. Let's check out the match 4. Okay, 2 lander here, but no black mana. I decide this is a keepable hand. I have 26 lands in my deck and feel like there is really a good chance to draw. I already have 2, so I just need to find at least one for my hand to be playable. I go for a block trip here and I decide to play out one of my Bowmasters. I ping the opponent and start attacking. I play out my Boseiju and really hoping to get the One Ring next turn. Opponent plays the Teferi and I decide to go for the Orcish Bowmaster in response. So I get the 2/2 token and 4 damage on the field to potentially kill the Teferi. And unfortunately I didn't get that land I wanted. Opponent now plays the Omnat to get me 2 Orcish Bowmaster triggers, which allowed me to get rid of the Teferi and play the Terminate on their turn, which lined up perfectly because I was able then to cast the One Ring on my turn and start drawing some cards. Also had like 6 damage on the field, so they needed something really good to survive here. They find the One Ring of their own, but their One Ring is much worse against my 2 Bowmasters. I also had a double bolt here to finish the game on the upkeep. They lose 1 life from their ring and I just double bolt them to finish the game. That was it. Okay, so let's check out game 2 against 4 color Omnat. All the decks I played are really popular decks right now, high tired. But I outgrinded all of them very easily. In this league and also in the previous leagues, I feel like this deck is very good at the moment. Played out the Halfling on turn 1. I have the Grist on turn 2. That play is really powerful. Opponents don't have the Grist, don't have removal for the Halfling, so I get to play my Grist. On turn 1, they're probably holding like Leyland Binding, but I don't care that much about Binding. I have another Grist in hand. I have Tear Asunder, so many solutions here. So they do take the Binding. I didn't. I had Life from the Loam in my hand, which I really wanted to play. So I decided to go for Tear Asunder this turn, taking their Leyline, making another Insect and just continue with attacks. Opponent plays the Omnat. I decided to hold Terminate in case they have Elesh and just play my Wrenn 6. Play the Halfling and hold the Terminate and the Bowmasters, whatever, even the Cave. Okay, so they didn't play anything, so I go for the Bowmasters, end of turn, expecting probably Solitude in my attack phase. So I was holding my Terminate here. I play out the ring before attacks, get the protection from everything. Then I attack with the 3 of my creatures, expecting the Solitude. Opponent goes, of course, for the Solitude, and I played my Terminate before the blocker's phase. So I put them down to the 10 life, and my board state is amazing. Let's see what I sideboarded out in this matchup. It was the Karn version, which is also pretty popular right now. Okay, I sideboarded 2 of the Lightning Bolts. They're not great in this matchup, but still necessary. I sideboarded third Boseiju for the Sokenzen. And I removed 1 Seismic Assault because I brought in Blood Moons in. So too many 3-mana enchantments, and that's basically it. So I won this game and played the Sheldred, and it was too much for the opponent, and they concede. That is the game. Okay, so let's check out the last match of the league for the trophy, which I also won. I think I played against Keruga, or was it? It wasn't, sorry. Okay, so kept a pretty good hand. Blood Crypt on turn 1. Getting me Renin 6, bringing back fetch. That is crucial for this game. If I resolve this, I have much higher chance of winning. Even if I didn't do that, I also have the life from the Loam in this game. But yeah, Renin 6 is just so good against these Dimir control players. They have the Shield Edict, so they succeed to kill my Renin 6 after all. But yeah, it was fine. I played my life from the Loam, get another land back, and then just decided to jam the Sheldred. Opponent has another Sheldred Edict, so Sheldred Edict is basically their only solution for spells like this. They had a solution for both the Sheldred and the Seismic Assault, so right now my situation wasn't great. Another Terminate is kind of not what I needed in this situation. I didn't want to go for a dredge, life on the Loam dredge, trying to find that forgotten cave or something like that. I just used my removal to kill their Snapcasters, but yeah, they were on 6 cards at the moment, and I was just top decking a lot of lands, and basically didn't have any more fetchables at this point. Opponent goes for the Consider. So this was a very hard situation for me against a deck like this with the 7 cards in their hand, struggling with lands. But that means once they get the lands, they will be very hard to beat. And also, I just didn't have any pressure, didn't draw any pressure early, so I'm just giving them enough time to get those lands on the field and then just completely dominate the match. I found that forgotten cave, so now I wanted to go continue loaming, but the opponent had just too many counter spells, so my chances of resolving the loam wasn't very hard. Just very easy to just continue doing the cave thing and getting that draw for a turn. Okay, opponent finally found those lands. I didn't have anything to do, so I just decided to try to go Boseiju them. Try to start killing their lands. But that didn't also work because they had a counterspell each turn for my life from the Loam. I went for targeted cave and 2 Boseijus, but yeah, again they find a counterspell. This was a very long game. My opponent I think they didn't even play the Murktide or some good finisher. Again, I went for the Loam. Again, another counterspell. Just infinite counterspells at this point. Not really letting me. They played like how much? One, two, three counterspells. Four counterspells in the graveyard. Sorry, and one Drowning Loch plus one. Uh, two Archmage Charms. So basically, they played 7 counterspells, and they had a kill here. Actually, it was pretty cool. So I want to show this. It was a memory card. I think this is pretty cool. So having that card in your commit memory. So for 4 mana, it's interaction spell, but for 6 mana, it basically can one-shot your opponent with the Orcish Bowmasters. Pretty cool tech. So that's it. Okay, opponent wins game 1. So let's check out the game 2. Much better hand here. Also, I'm on the play, so if I resolve this Vren 6, my situation is really, really good. So I go for that Vren. Now my opponent again needs to find that Schiller Edict, or Vren can do like large problems for them. And they do find it. Again, they have the Edict. It was okay. I was able to resolve the Sharded here. Sorry, not the Sharded, but Endurance. And Endurance is a pretty decent attacker. And opponent plays the Swilen. This is also a card I really, really like a lot. And I have a Dimir build with the Swilen. I still didn't put it on my channel, but I really like the build. And yeah, okay, I should have probably attacked first with the Endurance in a situation like this. Bluff having the Bowmasters and then play the ring, but it didn't matter because I had the one ring and they didn't have the one ring of their own, and basically they can't get rid of my ring, so it's GG. I played the Sheldred. Draw a lot of cards, gain some life. They did a few of these Bowmasters abilities. It didn't matter that much. I played out my Halfling and just passed the turn. Opponent untaps, loses 2 life, and yeah, plays a land and concedes. That's it. Okay, so let's check out the deciding game, match 3. This was probably the hardest one in this entire league. But I really I need to get the seismic assault thing going, or I get to have the ring going, whatever. The Vren 6, so many ways to win this game actually. Let's see how I sideboarded. I have a Wheel of Summers, especially for this matchup, and the Jund, of course. But I boarded out my lightning bolts on the play. Especially, I don't really want them on the play. So I boarded them out. I boarded out 1 assault. That's it. Okay, nothing else. So I really want my Wheel of Summers from the side. They're really important. Opponent unfortunately has the Unearth here to bring back their Bowmasters, attack me for 2. Yeah, the life can really go down quickly in a situation like this. And that I get to resolve my Seismic Assault, which was crucial at this point, and didn't want to let them do more damage to me because I really wanted to try to resolve the one ring. I didn't want to play the Sheldred here because I was afraid of them having the subtlety, so I really just wanted to try to jam the one ring. And I succeeded. Opponent plays the push, attacks with the Bowmasters. And yeah, now I had the double Sheldred, so I didn't have much choice. I went for the Sheldred. Opponent, yeah, I didn't expect this really. Opponent plays the Plumb the Forbidden in response, so it is actually cool cards. but maybe not so cool in a deck like this, but you can only basically use it on the Bowmasters. But yeah, it's actually pretty cool if you have. So if you have the Bowmasters token and you sack the 1/1 token, then you draw a card and you get another token, right? And then can you do this like infinitely or something like that? Maybe, yeah, maybe I'm not really sure but how this works, but it feels like this could be it. Is the plum or the for yeah, I really liked my opponent's deck. They had that forbidden card, that memory card, plus this plum. The forbidden tech seems like really cool. Really cool attack by the opponent, but Sheldred plus Seismic Assault wins the game, and that was it, the last match of the league. I think this deck is pretty cool and very powerful. So I played 3 leagues with a total score 13-2. And as you see, I was in a kind of a risky mood, and I decided to risk in a lot of the games just keeping the 7 card hands. And yeah, in those 2 times when I kept a one lander and risk didn't pay off. To be honest, in most situation when I played this deck, risking that much didn't ever pay off well. But it was it's I was in that kind of mood, and I decided to risk each game, and overall did well. So okay, that's it. Um, hope you like the deck. Hope you like the gameplay. Just a reminder to click subscribe if you like content like this. Comment in the video. I'm always interested to hear players' experience in paper magics with the brews from my channel. It can be this one or some different, whatever. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching until now, and goodbye.